What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the W Sports Podcast Live. We are College Football Week 3 Reaction Sunday. So thank you guys so much for joining us, whether it's on YouTube or you're on the podcast version of this, wherever you download podcasts. I want to say thank you guys so much for supporting the show and joining the show. Make sure you comment maybe your thoughts, ideas from this last weekend's crazy roller coaster weekend that is college football. But Tubby, welcome back to the show, man.
Hey, the weekend kind of turned into better, I think, than we expected some of the games to be.
Definitely
So
did.
there is that.
Yeah, I think you were exactly right about the Colorado game. So those who didn't get to see our preview episode, it did release, comes out every Thursday night or Friday morning, one of the two, just depending on. But Tubby was talking about, what was the word you used?
It was an old-fashioned slobber knocker.
Slobber knocker. And this one was chippy, especially towards the end there. But it's clearly that there's rivalry. And here's my thought. Travis Hunter, he's playing on Sunday. Like, that dude is at another level. My thought about that game, though, is Colorado State is nothing without Colorado. Who cares about Colorado State at this point, unless they're playing Colorado? So that's my big picture thoughts.
My big thing is if I am – so it has to do with the way Shedeur handled himself at the end of that game.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, if you're an NFL scout or, GM or something like that, there's this narrative going around about Shedeur Sanders that he's immature, that he's a, all about me type player. And he had a chance to be the bigger man.
He did.
Fowler Nicolosi talked all the smack all week, and he had every right to be upset. But all you had to do is shake the man's hand.
Yeah.
And it probably would have helped you out so much more when it comes to draft time, and you didn't. And now it's going to hurt you even worse, because now it just shows the lack of maturity that you have right now, especially knowing that there's going to be cameras everywhere around you.
Oh, forever.
Yeah, and the way you reacted, you had every chance to be the bigger person, and you did not take it.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. I mean, it's a chippy game. Emotions were probably running high, but Colorado 2-1. Halfway to the win total that we predicted. So we'll see. We'll stick to that and see what we have. One of those was against the FCS team, just saying, but it's still a good one. But still, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
We have a new number one. I don't know if you saw this, and that was I would always lean towards the AP poll over the coaches poll, just because coaches are seriously biased. Come on now. But Texas jumps Georgia. Is the bigger news? I mean, you give me the storyline here that you think. Georgia barely beating Kentucky that absolutely got destroyed the week before. We have Texas, who loses their starting quarterback, only to have a Manning in the house that, oh my goodness, this guy has the longest run since Vince Young in Texas quarterback history. And then, so those two storylines, which one is the bigger piece for you right now?
It's going to be Quinn Ewers, just because they said it looks like he avoided a significant injury. Now, he will be out for this week, which makes sense. You're playing UL Monroe. Might as well sit him anyways. But it'll come down to, will he be ready for the Oklahoma game?
Yeah, honestly, I kind of hope he is, because Arch Manning looked insane.
I mean, I'm not going to – he looked good against UTSA. It'll be different, I think, if he was to play an SEC team with a solid defense. UTSA, their defense – it has been pretty putrid the first few weeks. And on top of that, their top player that was on that team last year is now on Texas' side. So, I will say he played a lot better than I expected, because, just getting thrown in there and whatever. He had the big run, and then it was like he kind of had a couple of hiccups there, throwing the ball, whatever. But other than that, he looked fantastic. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't think that he'll miss the OU game, but as an OU fan, I hope he plays, because I don't want there to be any excuse when Oklahoma beats him that, we didn't have Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. I think the Georgia side of it is this is the hiccup game, right? Like, we've been rolling on all cylinders going into this year. And then you get Kentucky, who literally, I think they had 6 forward passes or something crazy like that the week before. I think that just let it slip. And I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock. Now, if this becomes a recurring theme, obviously, then you're like, hey, pump the brakes on the championship or bust, because this team, to me right now, I get having Georgia because this is a college football ranking. Yeah, for sure. Have Texas jump Georgia, but my money's still in Georgia to run the table throughout the season. Maybe have a loss if they just really buckle down and lose one. But is it on Kentucky? Did Kentucky lose this by punting it, or did Georgia win? Okay, all right. So Kentucky lost.
Yeah, I mean, you're already down after last week. If you're Kentucky, you have all momentum. You're at home.
Yeah.
You got to go for it.
Or you
I
can kick the
get,
field goal.
yeah, even kick field goal. I get what you're trying to do, but yet again, also like I said, you just got beat 31-6 the week before at home to a South Carolina team that, I mean, has played better than I expected them to, but you had every chance to take out the number one team in the country, and just kind of you played safe.
Yeah, definitely did. Give me your take real quick though on some of these teams are absolutely they're balling out right now. You got Miami who's moved all the way up to number 8. Is Miami for real?
I think of the ACC for sure. I don't know about the whole college football. It'll be that'll be to be determined. If they win it, make it to the playoffs. But I thought this was a team that had a very good chance to perform better because of Cam Ward.
Yep. Yeah. No, and he has played really, really well. I mean, they dominated this weekend. So you have Miami, Tennessee, who just put up was it 71 points.
Yeah, 65 in the first half.
It's just a stupid number. And then Ole Miss put up 40 again against Wake Forest in the ACC. You mentioned that just a second ago.
Yeah.
Of these 3 teams, give me rank them 1, 2, 3 right now of just, hey, believability, like, hey, how fast are the wheels spinning on the hype train?
Ole Miss, I think I've been big on Ole Miss this whole offseason and going into the season. They just kind of proved what I thought was going to happen. I think this is a very dangerous team when it comes to the playoffs in the SEC. This is a team that could absolutely win the SEC and make a deep run in the playoffs. I'm going to put Miami next, just because of the experience with Cam Ward. Nico has played out of his mind. He played kind of a not so great second game, but they were playing NC State, a top 25 team. That's to be expected. The other 2 teams that they've played are nothing to write home about, and they should have blown them out like they should have. It'll be different this coming week when they play a top 10 defense. The way Oklahoma's playing right now, it's going to be a total different experience for him than he's had all season in a big environment in Norman with all the hype around the first SEC game in Oklahoma history. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles things going up against a blue blood school in his first really road game of his career.
Yeah, I think I would rank him the same way for the same thing that you said. I love the Jackson Dart and the team that he has in Ole Miss, and then I love the ACC of the Miami team right now. It's Miami, and more than likely they're going to have a couple slip ups here and there, but it's the ACC, and outside of Clemson and Louisville right now, there's nobody else ranked in the top 25. And I don't know that there's. I mean, Virginia Tech is already kind of, So
what happened there? I mean, they almost lost to Old Dominion this week.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that, like, it's the same thing with West Virginia. I mean, we could lump those 2 teams together. They've really just fumbled out of the gate. Like, they just stumbled, and I don't know if it was last season. Sometimes these teams were bad, and then they take off at the end of the season, and then we expect them to continue to take off at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But we forget about what happened in the first month and a half. And I think that may have been what got us as fans, got us as podcasters of just some of these teams. But all right, let's go ahead. I want to move on real quick to the SEC. If you look at it right now, has absolutely dominated the top 7 of these rankings. They're 6 of the 7 teams, with only being Ohio State, who's outside them. I mean, is this actual, do you believe in that? Or, I mean, after seeing Oregon finally click on all cylinders, do you feel like there are some of these Big Ten teams that should get more respect moving forward?
I think maybe you could throw Oregon up there. I'm not sold on. I don't know exactly where Missouri is right now. I think that they are up there. I'm not quite sold on what Missouri's doing this year. Missouri has looked a little shaky. Yeah, BC was top 25 team, and they have been playing really good, but their defense doesn't seem quite as tough as it was last year. And at one point in the third quarter, late in the third quarter this year, overall for the season, they were 1 for 12 on passes over 20 yards, which is a big deal when you got Theo Weiss and Luther Burden, who are 2 of the best, wide receiver candidates in college football. So I think that there's a little bit going on. The offense line hasn't played great. They haven't really got a whole lot from the run game. I think that they're not quite as good as I think a lot of people expected them to be. And like I said, Oregon finally showed up.
Yeah, they did. And so here's what I would say: the comparison: Missouri is the SEC's version of Penn State in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
They're going to be a good team. They could sneak in as a wild card in the playoff, but there's just something that's missing.
Yeah.
And they've had a great recruiting season over the last couple of years, so maybe it pays off. And like you said, they do have the skill positions just like Penn State does. And yet here we are in that constant, I'm going to say 7 to 15 range that these teams find themselves. Give me your – it's anytime you turn on college football every week and they're giving us a breakdown of how the playoff works, which is super frustrating as a fan. I get it. All right. None of these things matter in your predictions until it's closer. Like there's no reason to give me predictions necessarily right now, week to week. I don't care. Yeah. But that being said, group of 5 teams stock up, who give me your 1, 2, maybe 3 that you think legitimately have a shot right now or have the highest shot to make it.
Yeah. So I think Boise State is the favorite, even though they lost to Oregon. They played Oregon super tough. But don't count out UNLV. Don't count out the Running Rebels. I mean, they went into Lawrence and they took care of business, and they will probably find a way to. I don't know, regular season if they play each other in the Mountain West, but they may find each other in the Mountain West championship game with the potential of the college football playoff on the line. Outside of that, honestly, I don't know if there's really another team right now that I look at. I mean, I think you'll have to throw Northern Illinois up there just because they beat Notre Dame, but I just don't know if they can sustain that all season. Yeah, I mean, the MAC's not tough, but it's the MAC. You never know what's going to happen from week to week. So that's how I think those are probably the 3 teams right now with the most legitimate shot, but I think it's really those top 2 and UNLV and Boise State.
Yeah, I like the UNLV one a lot, especially after you predicted it. That's what you talked about it last week's episode. Give me a quick rundown. When you look at this upcoming week, FSU is 0-3. It's the second time under Mike Norvell they have started 0-3. Is it time to go ahead and cut ties with the DJ quarterback experiment?
Yeah, I think it's time to go with a guy like Luke Growmaker or someone different. DJ, this was the big worry for them coming, or at least for us when we talked about this. I know a lot of people are super high on DJ. It was the fact that I think the reason why he played so good last year up in Oregon State is because there was no cameras on him really. And he had a great running back, had good coach. And now the lights are shining bright on him again. And FSU, after going undefeated and with the argument that they maybe should have been in the playoffs, and now they're like, oh look, we're going to run the ACC, and now you're 0-3, sitting here going, oh, I should say real quick, Memphis. We can't leave out Memphis. Memphis is absolutely in this group of 5. So yeah, I totally spaced on Memphis, but yeah, I think this is time to do something because the noise is starting to get loud for Norvell. Even though he just signed the extension, like you said, this is the second time that he started 0-3. The noise is getting loud.
Yeah, not as loud as it is also in Florida, over at University of Florida. I mean, dude,
not.
Just get him on. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I saw that supposedly they were having like a meeting today. I haven't heard anything else after that, but yeah, I'm surprised she didn't get fired walking off the field.
Yeah, it's terrible. It should have just shook a hand. Hey, we're good. See ya. Oh, yeah. Hey, I get it. I understand. The team's terrible.
Yeah, we're willing to pay your buyout. Thank you.
Yeah. Any quick thoughts that you have before we kind of wrap up today's episode about the Sooners? All right. I mean, we are Sooner fans, but maybe we'll wait till the end to talk about it.
Defense. I mean, that defense is for real. Hey, Grant, we haven't played super tough, teams, but this defense is something that we haven't seen in a while. The offensive line looked slightly better. Better. They made some adjustments throughout the game, moving guys around. Hopefully we get a couple guys back this week to kind of reaffirm that offensive line. Arnold played great the first half. Second half, you could see it was kind of the back to the same Oklahoma offense we had seen this year. The run game's going to have to find something out. I love Sawchuk and what he could potentially be. I love Barnes, but I think Tatum has to be the guy. I think you have to start
100%.
Taylor Tatum. Yep. He gives you the best chance on the ground. He has something different than everyone else. Like you said, I love Barnes, I love Sawchuk, but Taylor Tatum's different. And I get, he doesn't quite know the pass packages too well because he only got there in July, but the kid has everything. So really for Oklahoma this week is going to be getting those key guys back. It sounds like Branson Hickman is going to play. Sounds like Everett is going to play. So there's probably, left guard and starting center back. Angelo Anthony sounds like he's going to play. He suited up, just didn't really play. Nick Anderson suited up, didn't play. I think they were just holding him out. And then Gentry Williams, Hassan McCullough, and Kendall Dolby all supposed to play. If everyone's healthy and Oklahoma's offense can find something, I think this defense can keep them in any game right now, the way that defense is playing.
Yeah. I just want to throw this out there. Anybody who's like, you know what, this sounds like an awesome game to go to. Oklahoma's first SEC game in Norman. Tickets are starting at $209, which is by far, it's like double the next highest price right now for those matchups. And there's 4 top 25 matchups this upcoming weekend. So stick with the W Podcast. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe because we were at 4 episodes per week, each one about 10-ish minutes long. And we're going to talk about college football here today. Tomorrow we got NFL reactions. And then later this week, we have predictions and storylines for all the NFL. And then we have fantasy football advice and some baseball stuff. It's all here at the W Sports Podcast. If you just got to listen, make sure you subscribe. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us today. See y'all next time.
See ya.
See ya.